Hey, what's up, guys? I'm gonna do the Americas Stage 1 pick'ems. I'm joined with Vacify.
Yo, what's up?
Um, let's start with week 1 here. Cloud9 versus NRG.
Um,
This is a close
We'll
game,
see.
honestly.
I think it's gonna be real close.
I have a lot of faith in Brock and like CHD to bring the energy that NRG need for this game, but I could see this going either way,
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be a 2-1, I think.
for sure. I mean, C9 definitely looked really good bringing out the tail um, in kickoff. And Zeppa just looked insane in that series.
Yeah,
I think a lot of this will be on how much better form NRG is in going into this game, and how C9, like what look C9 bring in, because they've only played 3 series, I believe, and they got rolled by G2. So they honestly have not shown a lot. So you can't really anti-strut this team early on. Moving on, we have Crew versus Loud.
this will also be a really fun one. Seeing
This is gonna be a really close game. I'm gonna
how
bet on
Crew was
Loud here.
playing, though, they were playing really well.
I think these are both like super good Americas teams. Like both are definitely A tier teams
I definitely think
regionally.
Crew can put up a fight, but I think Loud will take it.
A lot of good individuals in this map, or this series rather. Just all of Loud were shooting really well. Then Shy
Yeah,
was insane on Vice. Uh, Next up, G2 versus Furia.
I don't think it's even a question, Loki.
Yeah, I'm still saying that Furia is an underdog, but not against G2
But not,
Esports.
yeah, not against
That's just an
America.
unlucky draw. MIBR Leviathan rematch. I think this has kind of got to go one way.
Yeah,
Leviathan did not impress me. And then, I mean, bringing in Rossi is going to be interesting, though, for sure. Playing, presumably, flex for the team. I don't remember a lot from the tank. Like when he was playing on Lev. Do you?
no, I don't remember a lot either.
I don't think the tank did bad, but I don't think he was like what they were looking for. And I think Rossi should bring more like firepower and like flexibility, probably. Like more towards like support instead of duelist
Yeah,
is I think what they were lacking, because already you have Tex, Demon One, and King who can all play duelist to a high level. Oh boy.
I think Evil Geniuses takes this easily, but it's only because 2G don't have their hard carry yet.
Oh my, this is a game.
It's gonna be like one of the worst ones to watch probably.
Dude, this is if I were to do a power reiki right now, I think this is number 12 and number 11 for me. I'm being so serious. All right, Sentinels 100 Thieves.
This is
This
also
is
a
a
very
good
interesting.
game.
This is a very interesting one. This is gonna be
A lot of this to me,
pretty close matches all the way through.
a lot of this to me will be, does 100 Thieves still look good? Do they look better than before? And how do Sentinels look coming out of Bangkok
Yeah,
and like losing in the way that they did, especially like going out in a 13-1? Like, will they
I'm definitely
be?
thinking they would clean some stuff up.
hmm Like, I feel like Sentinels will be kind of slow, just coming off of that loss, and then just like slowly build back up momentum and just like energy. I think this is going to be a close game, but I'm going to take the safe bet on Sentinels.
Yeah, I'm doing the same thing.
I I'm in no way saying that 100 Thieves are not going to win this game, though. I could easily see it.
I think it's definitely gonna be a 2-1. It's gonna be close.
I think this is definitely the best match quality that we have here. This one and
If
these.
not, yeah, if not Crew
This one will
Loud,
also be good. I think,
these three, yeah, these three
yeah,
will
these are
be.
definitely the three. Oh, this is an interesting game right here. Oh, I am torn between this one. I feel like
I don't know.
NRG is probably the obvious pick, but I honestly could see an upset from Furia here. Um, Furia have a lot of good individuals. I think this will kind of depend on how strong individually, like mechanic wise, NRG looks, truly. Because if NRG kind of just lose duels, I could honestly see Furia building momentum and taking this game, especially with a team like NRG, who like suffer from so slow starts.
I think the opposite can happen as well if they just start winning their duels.
That's true. Because Furia also are kind of like a lot of people are flaming them due to their lack of like structure. I think this game could get really scrappy and just like look
Yeah,
really bad.
it could probably look. Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna take a safe bet and say NRG, but I do think there's
Well,
upset potential here for
it could
Furia.
definitely go both ways. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is
This,
also another like
ooh, this is a
hard.
lot. Both of these are a lot closer than they look, in my opinion.
Yeah, with how crew were looking in their first like thing
Yeah, during kickoff they did look really sick.
and kickoff, they looked great. They looked
I want to go with Sentinels just because they have proven that they are like down to play whatever the meta shifts to. Whereas Crew, their only map where they've played Teo or Vice, and honestly even including Yoru into that conversation because he's more so played because of Vice, is Bind where they're playing Vice. So I think just based off of willingness to adapt to the meta, I want to go with Sentinels. However, I think if Crew come out showing some new comps, like fully revitalized, looking good, like I think
yeah.
Crew could honestly upset this,
Yeah,
especially if Sentinels have like a slow crawl back, like I was saying.
and if Kesnich is having a great game,
Like Crew have a lot of individuals. It doesn't even have to be Cusnet, in my opinion. Like you have Melser, who's like one of the best controllers of all time. You have Shy, who's looking insane.
their team's.
Mazzino, who
I
looked so
think
good.
their team's pretty underdog. Like I think they should have made Masters.
They could have, honestly. This is definitely a team that's looking to make champs again, based on current form. I think they can easily get top four. This game could honestly get close. I think EG is a team that could
Because
play
of
to
how
the level
EG
of their
plays,
opponents.
like they they have to definitely clean up a lot of stuff to be winning more games.
From what I've seen, I need to see like Ye and Icy just look more comfortable. Mostly like Ye, as they were trying to do the Jet Phoenix comp on Pearl, and like that has just like been burnt to my memory for this EG team, and I have just lost all hope for this team for now. It's it's just something that just like haunts my dreams. Like they were just not playing it well. They were not farming orbs with Ye on Phoenix. And putting Ye, like one of the best operas of all time, on Phoenix when there's a Jet in the comp as well just makes no sense to me.
That's insane.
When Jet, like Icy was playing like Gecko on like Icebox instead of a Jet for G2 last year, it's just like that just throws me off.
I think they need to get confident, and then they
Hmm
can start winning games.
I think EG could definitely heat up like really high. Like
Yeah, they can
they
definitely
can definitely make the
win,
upper half of Americas.
but they have a lot of talent in the way, and they need to definitely gain a lot more confidence.
Like if they can get Ye into like prime Ye, then like this team will be really good. Like even if the rest of the roster is not as stacked as that one player, like MIBR, honestly, like you have Ospas and then like a bunch of new up and comers, and like that team looks super sick. There's rumors that Verno's coming into MIBR over Noswer. Um,
That'd be pretty.
this will be interesting. Assuming Verno comes into MIBR for this game, that could be an interesting surprise factor.
It could be, but I think G2 is just too
I
deep.
think G2
They're,
do look just really solid. I think G2
I
will
think they're
just
looking to get vengeance coming out after losing.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. Like, I think after that, like, second place, there's just going to be a fire under their ass, and they're just going to just
Yeah, and they're just
smoke
gonna roll
anyone in their way.
because they know they can do it.
They definitely can, and I think they were the better team throughout all of Bangkok as well. I think T1 came out, just played their own game, and looked better on the day. But I think throughout the entire event, no team looked
Yeah,
as good as G2.
I think you give G2 another chance to beat T1, they would definitely come out on top.
And if you like beginning to end, G2 looked just as good. Like the only other two teams that were good throughout that, like really good throughout that event, or maybe even three if you want to include Vitality into that. Like T1 looked super sloppy in the beginning until they brought back Carpe, or not Carpe, Sylvan. Then EDG, like their last series, they kind of just like crumbled, and Vitality kind of like choked off at the end. And like G2 just did not look bad throughout any of their losses or anything,
Yeah,
which gives me a lot of confidence in them. And they were very quick adopters of the meta.
I definitely think they're just gonna start. They're gonna start rolling teams.
hmm Like even teams like MIBR is like
If they play
technically
these first, if they
third.
play these first two, I think they're definitely just they're
hmm
not. They know they can roll these teams, and they're gonna come out hot.
I don't think there's anyone in Americas that's able to stop this G2 team unless that team specifically has like an insane level up.
Yeah, and they have a bad day or something.
Yeah, it's gonna take a lot for G2 to just lose in this Americas League.
And then this next game, I don't think it's even close.
Yeah, definitely not. I think it's just loud all the way.
Yeah,
I don't think this is really a
they
discussion.
go like 13-5 both maps.
hmm It's just unlucky for 2G. Like
Yeah,
it
and they
shows that they're an Ascension team.
and they made it with a duelist that can't play.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be rough until they get Spike stage 2. And even then I don't like I think their confidence will just be boomed for stage 2.
Yeah,
Like there's a chance that Spike coming in just revitalizes the team's energy and like they just own. Like
but
most of these
now
teams are just going to be
getting
better.
into stage two for them, I don't think they're really looking at masters or champs or any of that.
It's
Right now,
yeah, it's just
they're trying to
hard.
get.
You have to be a top 3 team without your star player or a top 2 team with your star player, and I just don't see that happening truly.
I think Loud's thinking the opposite. I think Loud's thinking they can make it to Toronto.
I think Loud should have been able to make Bangkok, honestly. Like they only lost to Sentinel, like they barely lost to Sentinels,
If
truthfully.
Loud loses this game, it would be very surprising. Like very,
I
very
would be
surprising.
super surprised. Loud's a team I heavy underrated. Like I was rating them highly, then like just off of community expectations, I kind of just like writ them off, and like I kind of regret doing that because they look super good throughout their entire run.
Yeah, they look really good. They kind of just
This
got beat by the better team.
mhm, Sentinels kind of just like showed a lot of mental resilience into that game and just closed out throughout the rest of the bracket.
Yeah,
Leviathan C9 will be an interesting game.
I think if I think Cloud9 can win this if they play to the potential they can play to.
I agree. I think like my head says like if C9 have a better game plan, they could take this. But if I think Leviathan have a better stack of players on paper, and I'm sure like thinking about this as well, this will be a nice grudge match between Rossi and C9. So like I think this
Yeah,
will be a really good game. This will be probably as scrappy as last year's
yeah, it'll
league
probably
play.
be one of the best of the week.
hmm This is definitely like a really good game. Like these two teams going back and forth throughout.
I'm actually torn. I don't know which one to pick.
I want to go with Leviathan here because I feel like anything that C9 can pull out, they will pull out for a week 1 versus NRG again.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
And then I have a lot of faith in King and whoever their coach is. I don't remember who their coach is now, but like King is a player who impresses me a lot as an IGL. And bringing in Rossi, like he'll be able to know some of like what C9's thought processes are, being their IGL previously. And I think it'll be nice for Rossi to just like prove them wrong for cutting him.
Yeah.
I think that would definitely be a really hype game.
I think Rossi can have a really good map here because he wants to prove them wrong.
Hmm. I think Rossi was a really sick addition on that C9 roster.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, week 3, EG versus Sentinels. This could be another good game like this one up here, depending on if EG play up to the level of their opponents.
Or if Sentinels plays down to their opponents and doesn't play as well as they can.
Hmm. I could see that if they're like still down, but I feel like by this point, like 3 weeks in, I think they should be just like
If they're, I
kind of
think if
back.
Sentinels plays their normal Valorant, I think they can definitely take this game.
Hmm. I could see a world in where if Crew upset Sentinels here, then Sentinels are kind of just like
Yeah,
gonna get in their own head, and like AG, like Potter is like a really good coach and just, like could anti-strat Sentinels a lot here. Potter is undefeated against Sentinels, I believe, so that Calm as well. So that'll be a fun like storyline going into this week. Like I think that's this is gonna be a
yeah,
fun game for sure.
yeah, it's gonna be fun. But I think Sentinels can take it. They play how they should play.
Just off of what we know so far, this should be Sentinels all the way.
Yeah,
100 Thieves Loud.
this one.
This is a banger. This is a lot of good shooters in one server.
Yeah, this is this is tough.
I I'm not sure. I'm kind of torn
Yeah,
because I
I guess
remember
it would come down to like who's the better shooters, like who's winning their fights.
honestly, yeah, I think this could turn into like a really scrappy game, but like in a good way.
And I think
Right.
I think both the coaches would be like out calling each other,
Hmm.
and the IGLs I think are gonna be
I don't think one team has like a clear better coach or IGL, honestly.
yeah, I think they're gonna be really close.
Hmm. I think for me, I think if 100 Thieves win, it's off of Cryo just evolving and like getting back to that like best in America's form.
Yeah, I think it depends on how they play against their first two teams. For me, if 100 Thieves win this,
Mm-hmm. 100 Thieves do have a really tough strength of schedule for the first 3 weeks. Playing Sentinels, EG, then Loud. Like they're gonna get flamed for sure because like community expectations, they should like
these all can have potential to be 2-1 losses,
mhm,
very close losses.
for sure. And then like 100 Thieves is like a team that's like quick to like just make moves and stuff like that
Yeah,
to its own fault. I honestly feel like I trust Loud to play better individually off of what I've seen. I think Loud have 4 insane
yeah.
shooters.
If we're going off of kickoff, I definitely think Loud take this.
Hmm. I think if Cryo is able to show up and just look like one of the best players in Americas, I think Thieves can take this. But knowing that one of the 4 players on Loud, Benkata, Kawanzin, Tui's, and DGZen, all looked just insane depending on the map. And like they were both teams here are like experimenting with Teo, I believe. Um, so I think this gives me a lot of faith in Loud. And I think Loud will definitely just like have a lot of confidence from this game. And I think like the expectations that Thieves could get to them as well. This next game.
Dude,
I
uh,
mean, there's not much you can really say. I don't think there's a team that can really lose to 2G.
yeah, it would be very surprising if I saw a team lose to 2G, especially like without like maybe I see them losing if they have their duelist, but like it's kind of hard to implement a new player into your team going into VCT from
Ascension, yeah.
challenges.
I don't know. I mean, I feel bad for this 2G team, like
Yeah,
losing their star player. It's gonna be super hard for them. Like they're gonna be fighting really hard to get some upset wins here. But I have a lot of faith in Zap as their IGL. Like he looks like a really good leader.
Maybe they start clicking and start hitting heads, but
I don't know, it's a lot of pressure on Silence and Zap like
the
outcalling in my opinion.
I, from what happened in kickoff in between these two, um, I think Crew slams them again.
Yeah.
This was a crazy matchup in the first kickoff. So I mean,
Yeah, for sure. It was like
I think
what, like a 13-4, 13-7 if my memory serves me well.
yeah, it was something like that. They slammed them.
Might have been like 13-7, 13-5 maybe. I don't fully remember. Moving on, G2 versus NRG. This has potential to be a really good game, or kind of just a stomp.
Depends on how FNS is playing in calling.
hmm I think like
If FNS
NRG.
plays like he can, this could be really close. But
hmm
if he's been playing like how he's been playing in kickoff, I
Yeah,
think it's gonna
Finesse's
be
form has been like really concerning to me. Um, I do expect NRG to implement a lot of Teo, so potentially Finesse on more of like a Sentinel role again, with like Ethan and Brock playing the double initiator, which I don't know how to feel about. I think,
just it's kind of hard to see G2 losing.
yeah, like it really doesn't matter who's in front of G2. I don't think they can lose right now.
They have a super team and they are gonna be. I expect them to be coming off hot
hmm For sure.
with the vengeance.
But like
I
after
think
that,
they're
like
gonna be.
devastating loss, like this is a team that's going to be so motivated. Like they've been so motivated
I
as a
think they need
team.
to be. I think they're definitely gonna be coming off hot, and I don't think them. I don't see them losing to any team.
I would be surprised. And if they do lose, it's going to be a super close loss.
Yeah, it would be very close.
I think the only team that they can lose to is themselves, honestly. Unless they just mentally boom somehow.
If you just start playing bad, yeah,
And this is just not a team that's going to do that. For just being a core for so long.
yeah, and having one of the best duelists in the game.
One of the best IGLs as well.
Yeah,
A lot of just good players on G2. This Furia Leviathan game, honestly,
this is gonna be. This might be interesting.
I'm gonna go for the upset pick of Furia. I think the individuals here are all pretty good. I think Furia has a better team than Leviathan in terms of firepower. And I think Leviathan looked kind of one-dimensional in kickoff, whereas Furia, I think have a massive excuse of like their players being super late, not being able to practice due to visa issues. You've
Yeah,
seen that YFP core playing for them, and then they get back versus Leviathan, and just I'm going to assume that they did not have a lot of practice,
yeah,
which is just obviously never gonna go well. Like you've seen the same thing with Loud last year versus NRG. Like they were the only team that NRG beat other than MIBR and Furia, and both of those teams looked awful. No offense, but I think like
I definitely think it can go both ways.
I do as well, depending on like if Leviathan have a more
I don't think
structured
there's a.
approach to
I
the
don't think.
game and like
I
look
don't think there's a
better.
clear winner here.
Yeah, I think I feel confident that Furia can win this just off of MW Zera, Heat, and Havoc all just shooting well. If
Yeah,
Khalil's able to level up as well and get to his like peak form as like the best controller in Americas, like early into the VCT franchise system, like this Furia team is so stacked.
yeah,
And I think Leviathan's not far off, but I think Furia will just play to a higher level consistently than the Leviathan players. So I think Leviathan just have to have a better game plan, and I have not seen that from them so far. Like Leviathan have a lot of good individuals during their time period, but like everyone else in Americas has leveled up significantly, so like you cannot just rely on these players anymore. Like Tex is good, Demon One is good, Com is good, King is good,
yeah,
and
but
Rossi's good. But like
yeah,
It's not enough to just have shooters on your team anymore.
They don't really play well together.
Hmm. And like Furia have they won one of the Brazilian or like LATAM offseason events together, and they kind of just destroyed Loud as well in that event. So that gives me a lot of faith in this Furious peak. Um, so it kind of just depends on if Furia is able to showcase like what they can do fully,
Yeah,
and Leviathan's
I
like
agree.
calling. MIBR C9, I think this should be clear cut for MIBR.
I think MIBR takes this.
I would be surprised if Cloud9 win. It would have to be some insane like
They
anti-stratting.
can win, but it'd be close.
Hmm.
Like I think their win would be really really close.
It would kind of rely on MIBR choking more so than themselves winning, I think.
Yeah, I think if they win, it would be like in overtime.
Especially with Verno coming in and just a firepower upgrade over Noswer. Um,
The upset would definitely be very hard for Cloud9 there.
for sure. I think it might be our heavy favorites. Speaking of heavy
And
favorites,
100
Odd
T's
Thieves,
2G.
like,
I definitely.
it's hard to make any
It's hard.
argument for
It's hard to pick
2G.
2G. It's hard to pick 2G.
It is
Really.
really. Like, knowing how this
Even if
game
100
works,
Thieves
they're
has
gonna
a
win
bad
one of
day.
these.
I guess but even if 100 Thieves has a bad day, it's still kind of hard to lose to this team.
I think 2G's best bet is EG or Crew.
Yeah, EG they might be able to. Like if they have an insane series and EG is just playing bad, I could see 2G possibly upsetting EG,
Like,
but
if they win a game, I think it just has to be this one. And if not, then your next best bet is Crew.
next best bet is Crew. But even Crew looked really good against them the first
Hmm.
in
But I
kickoff.
think 2G didn't have a lot of practice, if I remember right. I'm not sure. That's just like what I remember about that. I could be wrong though. But
I'm not sure.
still, I think regardless of who they're playing, like they just don't look to the same level
They have to
as the rest of the
depend on the
league.
other team having a bad day,
For sure.
and
Uh,
then they have to be playing like to the best
really
of their
well,
ability.
yeah. Playing to their peak. Um, G2 Leviathan was I think it was a pretty clear cut win for G2 if I remember right.
I think so, yeah.
I don't really see too much changing, honestly. There's no real storylines going into this map, and I think G2 strategically, individually, just everything will be the better team here. Um, Furious C9. This is kind of a close game in my opinion. I want to go Furia, mostly because I think C9 rely a lot on having like cool ideas that then they just bring forward to like just the rest of their season or stage or whatever. And then like it gets super readable and like teams start to like counter those ideas. Is like where I see the C9 team going. It's like I think if we had like if kickoff wasn't just a playoffs bracket and it was like a group stage or something like that, I think C9 would have been a lot worse
Yeah.
off. Like if NRG had another game like versus C9, like I don't see NRG losing that again. Um,
Yeah, I think Furia would win this, but I think it would be another close one.
I think it's possible for an upset, but I think Furia are definitely the favorites. I think individually, Furia should just be better. The C9 have like Oxy and Vic.
C9 just they weren't really looking that good. I mean, they are also had a pretty tough schedule.
It also relies a lot on Zeppa doing well.
Yeah, if Zephyr plays well, it could be closer at least.
They have an okay strength of schedule. This is going to be one of the games that they're looking at really heavily to try to win, for
Yeah,
sure.
they had a really tough one in kickoff.
Yeah, they played what, number one and number three to lose.
Yeah,
Yeah, that is a rough strength of schedule. But I mean, like this season itself is kind of rough. Like there's a just every team that you play against is going to be good. Um,
this next game though, this is gonna be this matchup's gonna
This
be.
is a huge rematch. Like
I
honestly,
love this. I love this matchup.
this will be a massive head-to-head.
It's so fun to watch when these two play together.
I truly think that Loud will win this. Just like I think they will
Yeah.
win it so much
I
more than
think they should have
Sentinels.
won. I think they should have won against Sentinels the first
For
time, but
sure.
Sentinels kind of
It
just
came down to like a
messed them
clutch
up.
from Zekin to then bring back the momentum of Sentinels, I believe.
Yeah, they were definitely out of it
Loud
for
were
a
on
little bit.
pace to win the first game that they played.
Yeah, yeah,
I
100%.
do think that Sentinel, like just off of what we know right now, Sentinel should win this. But for me personally, I gotta go with Loud. Like I think losing and the like knowing that you're the better team in that series, and then losing, is just so soul crushing
Yeah,
to the point where you just like want to just destroy whoever did that to you.
I definitely think it's gonna be really fun to watch. I love when these two play
This will
together.
be just a massive game of that. Like I hope I'm able to watch this game
Yeah, they are so fun to watch.
for sure. This will be honestly, this is a much better quality game than it looks like in my opinion.
Yeah, it
Crew
depends on
versus EG.
how EG's playing, but yeah, I can definitely see them
Hmm.
being very very close with Crew.
I think these two will match up very well. I think at this point EG should feel solid coming off of like
I can, yeah,
this game will feel so easy to them after playing 100 Thieves and Sentinels.
yeah. I think since it's this late in the group, like the group
I
stage.
think Potter will give this team a clear direction by this point as well.
Yeah, I think this late they take this game. I think if it's the first game of the stage,
Hmm.
I think it might be a loss, but I think this late they can have a chance to win against Crew.
I agree. I feel like EG should just be looking at this game and like just feeling so relieved getting
Especially
out of.
if they get a couple of upset wins, and since they first 2G first game, and if they can pull some upsets off, then I definitely think that it's looking
They
even better for
can
them here.
honestly upset both of these games in my
Yeah,
opinion.
I
More
think
100 Thieves depending on their
I,
form.
yeah, I think if they can pull some upsets off, I think they're definitely looking at this game as a should be a W. Like
Yeah,
we can
they're
definitely
looking
win
at
this.
this game like it's kind of easy compared to their other two games.
Yeah,
And like,
they're looking at week one. They're like that should be very easy. And we can definitely get if we can get an upset here, we can probably get into Masters.
mhm.
And then like they're trying to get this win here because this could solidify their place.
Honestly, there's a chance that they get into playoffs for this stage.
Yeah,
So
I can see it happening.
if they like upset Thieves, then they can kind of easily win this and then just get out.
They can get the playoffs, but they're gonna need to. I think they're gonna need an upset here in one of these
Hmm.
two.
Like either Loud Sentinels or
Hundred
Thieves.
Thieves. Yeah, they're gonna need to win one of those.
This game will be so fire to watch.
Yeah, this would be pretty fun.
I gotta go with the Verno um victory on this. Like I feel like he just wants to prove that energy like just he wants to prove them so wrong. Like I can just tell the like just from what I can tell about his personality, like he's just gonna be like just so wanting to prove them wrong that like cutting him
Yeah,
was just the wrong decision. And
yeah,
he's just gonna like put everything in his power to just bring this team over the line. You know, like finesse versus Osboss again.
yeah. If Aspas is just playing like he can,
Hmm. I think if you
trying to
look at this
dominate
in,
the lobby.
hmm I think this MIBR team kind of head to heads really well against NRG. Like comparing players for players, like Verno, I think is a better player than Brock. Um, Flex players, what Artezine versus Ethan. I think Ethan might take that. Cortesia versus Finesse. I think Cortesia wins that any day of the week.
Yeah,
Som and Xenom are honestly close. I think Som in current form is better, but Xenom honestly could just level up as well.
yeah. Or Som can just fall apart.
I think that's also very possible. But I'm this is going to be like both of these games. This is going to be such a good week to watch, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Week 4
I
is
definitely agree.
definitely just one of the better weeks for just
Yeah,
mashups.
all of these games would be kind of lit to watch.
Yeah, like even
Or
the
maybe
like.
maybe 100 Thieves in 2 game might be
Yeah, this is kind of the
strong.
bad game, but like every other game, like
Yeah, every other game would be like really fun to watch.
really good at the heads.
Yeah.
Like these two especially, and then like looking at the potential upset for this game, really fire games. Um, I mean, just off of what happened in kickoff, I think you still just
Yeah.
got to go with G2 here. MIBR Furia, like as much as I want to put like say that Furia is like a really solid team, I think MIBR is like at least a top
I
four
think
team.
I think MMBR would definitely show out here.
For sure. And, like just the Brazilian head to head, I think they'll want it so much.
Yeah.
Continue Ospas's legacy of just not losing to Brazilian teams that he had with Loud. Sentinels 2 game, I feel pretty safe betting on Sentinels here again.
If Sentinels lose the 2 game, I think it's just kind of just it's
They kind of just lose to
it's kind of
themselves.
chalked. It's kind of chalked, and they need to fix something.
I
I don't
think
know. They need to do something. If they lose the 2 game, it would definitely be them losing to themselves and not losing to the other team.
I think a world in where that is possible though. Well, like I think it is possible if Sentinels are like just still like just so beat up
If they
about
get
Bangkok
Yeah, if
and
they
just
get
don't feel
upset
good all
by
the way through.
EG and then lose to Loud, I can see them like losing to themselves in this game. But it would be hard for them to lose to themselves, I think.
I think
Even if they're
Sentinels can. All of these games are losable for Sentinels,
Yeah,
truthfully.
it,
And
especially
then
with how
if
they were playing and
mhm. Like
not
if
really.
they honestly like lose all four games, which is so doable, like truthfully speaking,
It is. It is. Yeah,
and then they go into this game like already like kind of beat up from Bangkok, and then just 0-4.
they might not even like
No,
put in the effort.
knowing that they can't even make it in, like 2G could honestly like upset
2G
their
could
way over them.
definitely get one here.
And I think it's
I think
possible
that
given that
they
Bang and
can.
Neri are like
Yeah,
less experienced players than Tens and Saucy, and you're starting to see cracks show in the teams like comparing them to G2, like G2 has like the just, you're not going to break their mental. And like Sentinels losing two really experienced players, both having two trophies,
yeah.
like, and you're bringing in, like, I don't want to say rookies because they're not really rookies, Bang especially, but I mean, to some extent they are much
Younger.
younger. That's a better way to
Yeah,
put it, yeah. Like, younger players, like, they can kind of get in their own head, I feel like, and Zelsus as well. Like, even though he's, like, I believe 27, or like
yeah.
mid
Probably
20s,
around there. Yeah, he's around there.
he's known to be like a bit of a crash out is like the best way I could describe him. Like he's the vibes guy, but I mean like when things are going wrong, like you can't always rely on Zelsus.
Yeah.
And like you've seen some of that in later
Furia
kickoff.
will. Yeah, I think if they should definitely get this game. They should definitely go their
Mhm.
way.
Like unless they're 0-4 and know that they're just out of playoffs contention, this should be Sentinels taking it in my opinion.
Duo. Yeah, easy.
Like maybe they lose a map like really
I
close.
think even if they're 0-4, it's still hard to lose to this team.
hmm
It's no hate on 2 game, but it's just
Yeah, I mean it's just like you can't really say much for this two game team. Like it just feels harsh betting against them, but I mean like
yeah. It's
you
kind of
you
just
can't make a case for them. Like I think even like
there has to be
EG
a
I
worse
think is the
team.
11th. Like it's between like EG Fury and Cloud9 is like the 11th worst team or best team rather. And like it's just so easy to like make a case for them in certain
Oh yeah,
games.
because they have one of the best op players of all time. If he can actually just get back to his form he used to be at.
And EG, yeah. Like Cloud9, like they have good individuals, then like they can game plan fairly well for like just surprise pick really well. And Fury, I think,
The
are heavy underrated. Whereas two game don't
the
really have anything.
are just Ascension people that
hmm
won
Like it feels like they're challenger players playing in VCT
playing
because it
playing in
really is what's
VCT.
happening.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
Like that's what you would expect to happen, and like it's just
I
rough.
think I think you give them couple years, I think they'll be they
Hmm.
can start being
This is
good.
definitely an underdog team, like that
Yeah,
a lot of people should be looking at, like for the individuals. So like, because I think so, like Spike as well. Zap could become like a future leader of the game, similar to like Sadak. Like just given more time, more experience.
I think
Like,
that's also just what's killing them is they just don't have as much experience as some of the other people in this
hmm
league.
like the only other like low experience roster you kind of look at is I'm blanking right now. MIBR having two rookies, a fairly like newer player
They
to the
also have
VCT scene, but you
they
also have
also have
Ospas,
Aspas who's been in the league
Broad as
and
well
and
from that Loud team.
the, possibly one of the best duelists,
hmm Definitely the best
probably the
individual
best,
player in the game.
the goat.
Um, but moving on to this Crew Thieves game, I think
Um, this this could
I
be
feel
interesting.
more confident in Thieves winning this than Crew, but I think this is a really close game.
I think this could go like Crew could have a really good game and Thieves could have a really bad game. This could go really bad for Thieves.
And I think this, yeah, for sure. I
It can
think
also go the other
that's.
way as well.
I feel more confident that if any, like either team is looking worse, it's going to be Thieves. I think if this is like, if both teams look fine, I think Thieves take it. If Thieves are looking really good and Crew look fine, then Thieves take it. But I mean, like Thieves have potential to just look super bad compared to where you would expect them to be, and Crew could take it.
I think depending on what happens in the first couple of weeks, this could be a loss for them.
Yeah, depending, like honestly, I think this game would probably change like as you see these two teams play more. The Steves definitely did not get a fair showing through kickoff, losing to MIBR and NRG. Like I definitely think people are underrating the Sancho Thieves roster. Like I think this is a team that could be fighting for
They
trophies
yeah, I think they definitely can, and at their peak,
for sure. And it's like I think with bringing in Xander
they have a
over
really low
Bang,
floor as well. They could also fall apart.
hmm I think bringing in Xander should raise their floor though from last year because it's like the same 5 out of 6. You're just replacing a controller player with a pretty equally skilled controller player, like slightly worse mechanically maybe, but a lot more experienced as like a IGL co-IGL type of role that I'm
Yeah.
sure is like helping the calling a lot. It should allow Busia to feel a lot more free as a caller. Definitely an underrated aspect of bringing in Zender.
Mhm.
Because he has like a lot of experience like with tier two, and I think he has a lot of experience with every player in the server as well, or in the team as well. I know he at least worked with Cryo previously in version one. Or not, no. Never mind. That I was thinking of a head to head. Just ignore that. I was thinking of version one versus Xset. They
Oh.
both made moves at the same time. This EG Loud game. I
I see Loud taking this.
Me too. I think
Uh,
I just trust Loud's individuals more than EG.
from the way they looked in kickoff, I can see them. I can see them actually like balling out and start winning a lot
hmm
in stage one.
I do think there's upset potential for EG, and they could have like a really strong playoffs run. I think either team can kind of look really good. I have a lot of faith in Loud like going super deep. I think Loud are honestly Toronto contenders
Yeah, I do too. I think Loud they looked really good. They just kind of got unlucky and kind of lost to themselves.
versus
In
Sentinels. I
kickoff.
mean, yeah, we actually have Loud going undefeated in this bracket.
Oh, yeah, we do. But they can. All of these games are pretty. They could be pretty close.
Yeah,
I
all
think
these games are losable. I would
they
say.
could all these except for 2G. I think they can lose all of these games.
hmm And I think even versus like if they do lose to Crew, I think their confidence could be kind of boomed, like because they don't have like a real experienced leader. Like it's I believe Rafa is their IGL. No, it's Vinny. Rafa's the IGL if you yeah. Benny is like not a name that I've been seeing around a lot in
Yeah.
challengers. So I mean, you could kind of lose a lot of confidence with these somewhat younger players. Like
I think
Pencott
that's
is
when
your only
I
experienced
think
player,
that's
really.
when I think that's when Pankata starts to
Hmm.
pick up the team.
For sure. And like DG Zen, I believe, was like had a lot of issues within Furia. It was like why he got cut. So I mean, like there's potential issues like
Yeah.
that could crop up. I could see, but I mean, I have a lot of faith in this Lao team. Like I think this team could do a lot as a team, even without like Sadak, Aspas, Les, like their quote unquote carries, like the people
Yeah,
that you constantly think of
they still look pretty good.
for sure. Like Vinny's done a really good job leading the team and just like everything within this team. STK as well as the coach.
Yeah.
A lot of respect for this, like everyone in the team. And it shows it just wasn't Aspas, Les, and Sadak,
Yeah. 100.
which is for like just so good to see. Leviathan Energy, I think this could be a big toss up. I could honestly see this being like a playoffs contention slot.
Yeah, like this is whoever wins this is going to playoffs.
Yeah, I could see something like that happen. I think that NRG could. I think I have more faith in NRG winning this than Lev.
Yeah, for sure. I think Energy just
I think they
play
will
better.
outcall them.
Yeah, I think they would just play better
Like
all around.
I think Leviathan. I have concerns with like looking too static as a team and like not really doing anything, like not really having any set game plans and like relying too much on their individuals when they're not like too much better than like the rest of the league, to be
Yeah,
honest. And I think that'll kind of just like hurt them a lot going into the stage. Um, but
for
I
sure.
think
Yeah.
this Leviathan team can do a lot of damage if they like get really good strategically and like start outcalling teams. Like I think it's doable.
Yeah.
Or they look a lot more flashy, which is also possible. Like bringing in Rossi could make them look a lot different in terms of style as well. Given that he was IGLing the C9 roster and like they looked really good.
Mhm.
Like this is just off of what I remember watching with Natank and the team. Like possibly with Rossi, like it looks like just a whole new team, which is like one player moves can like be bigger than they look. Same thing with like kind of bunch of thieves. Um, I feel fairly confident in these pickums
Yeah,
for
I like
time
them a
being.
lot.
Um,
They might start changing as the
yeah, I might have to like update a few of these. Like,
yeah
like this game
maybe
could
more
change a lot depending on like the form of these teams. Same with this. Like, there's a few teams that I think could change a lot to like
yeah.
level up or like
I think
go down
after
a
this
lot.
first week, after
This
this
first
first
week
week,
will be a good test for all the teams, in my opinion.
yeah, yeah, every single one of these teams would have a really good test in their first week.
For sure. I feel like I'm pretty confident ending the video here.
Yeah, same.
Um, join the Discord. Um, we we have a team Twitter now. Also follow both of us on Twitter. Subscribe to the YouTube. Follow me on Twitch. Follow Vacify on Twitch as well. Um, join the Discord. I think I already said that, but other than that, I'll be doing pick'ems videos for other tier lists or the other regions rather. So stick around for those. I'm not sure how soon I'll be doing those, but yeah, later.